Joining me now is the governor of the great Republic of Texas, my governor, Greg Abbott. Good to see you, sir.
You too, Dana.
It's good news that the number of people crossing illegally have decreased in Texas. The bad news is that it's increasing in other border states. That was a report from Bill Malugin, and it's because of the efforts that you and Border Patrol have been making at the southern border, despite the fact that, the president said that he's basically flex sealing it closed with his executive order.
Well, first, so you'll know, and that is Texas has done several things to lead to a dramatic decrease in illegal crossings into Texas. One, you will remember that park in Eagle Pass, Texas, that's about 50 acres in size, that had about 5,000 people crossing illegally a day. And I ordered the National Guard to wire that park shut. And ever since then, like for the last 2 months, for example, we've had on average only about 2 people crossing a day, not thousands. And then we have expanded those operations, whether it be building a border wall like the Trump border wall, expanding more than 100 miles of this razor wire wall, having the National Guard with weapons behind razor wire to ensure that people do not cross illegally. In the state of Texas, illegal immigration has gone down 75%, while it's been going up in New Mexico, Arizona, and California. Deterrence does work. Listen, I'll be happy to expand our efforts into New Mexico, into Arizona, into California, if their governors would allow me to do so, so that Texas could seal the entire border of our southern border of the United States of America.
And I would think that they would like that. They would want that. They would want that help. I wanted to ask you too, as well, Governor. You've made a most wanted criminal illegal immigrants list. It's Texas's top 10. I'm looking at it now, and there's already been arrests made on this, and these are dangerous people. I know that there were some open border progressives that were quite upset that you made this list, but I think it's helpful as an aid to law enforcement, because these are dangerous. These are dangerous criminals that are just coming across the border freely.
So these are illegal immigrants who cross into the United States illegally, and they are found in the state of Texas, and they are wanted for crimes like murder, like rape. 6 of the top 10, if I recall correctly, also had on their record assault of a child. And so these are very dangerous people. The public needs to know they're very dangerous. If anybody in Texas, you can go to the Texas Department of Public Safety website, see who these 10 people are. Only 9 now, because as you point out, we've arrested 1. But see who they are. And if you learn anything about it, be sure and report it to Crime Stoppers. If you don't know the number, it's 1-800-252-TIPS.
Easy to remember. Talking to Texas Governor Greg Abbott, the president's executive order, odd because he's doing a 180 on all of these other executive orders that former President Trump had. I mean, these are things that Biden did his first 100 days in office. I think 94 moves that he made to just sort of loosen up the restrictions at the border, open the border up. But they're really kind of toothless, Governor, because they say that they're going to limit these closures, or rather moratoriums, are only going to go into effect if there's something like 2,500 crossings. But then it's up to the discretion of another unelected government bureaucrat. So it's really a toothless proposal, and it's not going to do anything to reduce the deluge at the border.
You're 100% correct. And to be clear, you said that Biden did a 180. Actually, it's a 180 in form, but not in substance. Because going back in time, 4 years ago, we had the most secure border in 45 years, and the lowest number of illegal immigrants crossing the border under President Trump because of the policies he put in place. On day 1, when Joe Biden took office, he eliminated all those policies that led to that record low illegal immigration, and now we have the highest number of illegal immigrants ever. And what Biden is doing, he sees it as polling is way upside down on this. He sees he may be losing the presidential race because of his open border policies, and he's trying to do something. But in reality, as you point out, he's accomplishing absolutely nothing, because automatically he's saying that 2,500 people get to cross the border illegally a day. And then supposedly, magically, mystically, the border is going to shut down. That's not the way that it works. He's provided nothing whatsoever to secure the border, to deny illegal entry, to send people back. And so what this actually does, Dana, is the contrary of being a deterrent. This is now an enticement for people to rush the border, come to the United States in greater numbers illegally. And going back to your lead-in, that's exactly what Bill Mnuchin has been showing through video, showing the large number of people who are coming in completely undeterred. One last point along these lines. Bill Mnuchin interviewed these people, asked why you're coming. Person after person after person gave him a reason. None of it was for legitimate asylum claims. So the people coming across the border, they could care less about Joe Biden's asylum policy. They're coming here and they're getting here because they want to be here illegally.
Yeah, and isn't it true, Governor, that there is a cutoff as to how many asylees that the United States can accept even in a year? And if you have all these people abusing that rule, then what happens to people that are genuinely seeking asylum and they're unable to get in?
Well, you're spot on, because there are people across the world, for whatever reason, in whatever country at any particular time, that do have legitimate asylum claims. Most of these people, as in seemingly about 99% of these people who are crossing the border, do not have legitimate asylum claims. I heard a readout of some of the reasons why, under Biden's new policy, asylum at least could be granted, or at least they could stay here. It would be if they just said that they are in fear of their life, if they said they were not afraid, if they were silent in response to the question. All those would be ways in which they would construe that the person actually does have fear. I mean, it's idiocy. It's crazy. And the American people need to know that Joe Biden is just gaslighting his fellow Americans.
Yeah, I read that they can even be expressed non-verbally. And I thought, how in the world are you going to express non-verbally that you live in fear for your life and you want to make an asylum claim? That's a pretty big statement to express non-verbally. That's goofy. That doesn't make any sense. One of the things, Governor, that in the president's his executive orders, he said that they're going to make it to where we decrease the amount of fentanyl and other drugs that are coming across the border. And he wanted to add, I think it was 100 screening machines to screen for fentanyl. That does not seem like that's going to do. How would that reduce it?
It will not. Wherever those screening machines are placed, the cartel will know actually before those machines are put in place, and they will redirect their fentanyl to other locations. And so it will do, again, absolutely nothing. It shows how ignorant Joe Biden is about how the southern border really works.
We have 100 some odd new immigration judges, even though a lot of people aren't even necessarily given a trial date, or it's not followed up on. None of that your methods are working. Their methods aren't working. This election, I mean, obviously everybody's hopeful that we don't have a Democrat majority in the House and we don't have a Democrat president after November. But what are you doing in the meantime to kind of gear up for worst case scenario?
So literally, as we speak right now, we have thousands of National Guard on the border, and they are building more razor wire border barrier every single day. This has proven to be extraordinarily effective at denying illegal entry. And so we are expanding our efforts, and also today we're adding more of the same border wall that Donald Trump put up in the state of Texas. When you look at the wall already put up, the amount under construction right now, Texas has added more of the Trump border wall than Trump put up in the state of Texas.
That's impressive. And that's a nice border wall too. Governor, while I have you, I wanted to ask a quick question about Kane, my producer, calls it Y'all Street. The new Texas Stock Exchange. I do like Y'all Street, by the way. I think that would, just saying, maybe we should seriously consider that as the official name for it. I love that we have our own grid, that we've got our own gold reserve. It's a very self-sustaining republic. There have been a couple of questions about Blackrock's involvement in this. And I just what do you say to those people, like-minded folks, because you've been very critical of Blackrock yourself. I mean, you've been one of the more vocal leaders that have been very critical of it. What do you tell, conservatives that are kind of, a little nervous about Blackrock's involvement in the creation of this new Texas Stock Exchange?
Sure. Two things. One is know that this is something that actually does not involve the state, does not involve government or anything like that. This is totally a private enterprise. Second, what many of the viewers would not know, and that's the extent to which Blackrock has been reaching out. They have repeatedly told myself, the lieutenant governor, and other state officials that they have now changed. They are no longer pushing this ESG woke agenda that completely backed off of it. And part of the policies of the Texas Stock Exchange is to get away from the woke agenda that's being imposed by the NASDAQ and maybe the New York Stock Exchange. So we're going to have a market that's going to focus on one thing only, and that's capitalism. And we have a need for it in the state of Texas, and that's because we have oil and gas companies that may need to access capital through the public markets. And we want to make sure that we have a venue for that at a time when New York and Chicago and other places may be trying to shut down things like that. So here's my point to connect all this together. And that is BlackRock is a part of this, understanding that the core elements of this are getting rid of ESG, getting rid of DEI standards, getting rid of exchanges, telling businesses who they must hire to put on their boards of directors. And so what BlackRock is trying to do basically is going on an apology tour and a change tour where they're changing what their past behavior and correcting their past behavior.
Very interesting. We're going to watch this with obviously great interest. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, always appreciate your fight, sir. We appreciate your strong attention at the border. Thank you for what you do. Good to see you.
Thank you.